been that poor through this point in the season. Yeah, Tennessee is on the rise a little bit. Don't expect a lot out of this game. You might see a 21-16 type game. And if Jacksonville can get something going out of their passing game, if Bortles can, convert on third down, maybe you'll get something else there. If their running backs can hold on to the ball. It's a lot of ifs with Jacksonville, and pretty much the same thing with Houston. If Brock Osweiler can do what he needs to do. If their defense can hold off enough points. This is the big if game. And I'm not even going to pick this game. I'll take Houston for the win, I guess. Point-wise, maybe they cover the spread. Who knows? Let's move on to a more competitive, more interesting game. Sorry, Jacksonville and Texans fans. You're just not right up in the mix right now as far as big games this weekend. I hope the game turns out great for you, though. I really do. I'm a fan of all football, and it'd be nice if all the teams could play at their top level each and every week. Big game here locally. The Denver Broncos have traveled down to New Orleans to face the high-powered New Orleans Saints offense. And if you just looked at the offensive comparison for this game, there would be no way you could not pick New Orleans. It's easy to see based on those numbers why they are favored by 3 points in this game. They're averaging 434 yards a game compared to Denver's 323. That's huge, over 100 yards more per game. They're averaging over 100 more yards passing per game. They're averaging over 10 yards more rushing per game. They're averaging 7 more points per game, the whole entire score. Their third down percentage is almost 20% better. And their time of possession is way above Denver's. Denver's offense has been anemic this season. We talked about it a little bit. The play calling has been horrible. I don't know if Kubiak isn't trusting his guys or what's going on there. I really don't understand it. But it seems like they're playing the most basic, simple, predictable, just don't turn the ball over type offense. And eventually they're going to have to open up the playbook and see what either one of these guys can do that they have at quarterback there. Defensive comparison, it's not even close. Denver's defense is way better than New Orleans in every category other than the rush defense. And we know Denver's rush defense has been a little bit exposed this season, with New Orleans running backs averaging over 150 yards a game the last couple games. Expect New Orleans to try and run the ball quite a bit today with a lot of play action because Drew Brees is accurate. Michael Thomas on the outside. You got Brandon Cooks. This one's going to be tough for Denver. It really, really is. I expect Denver to kind of have a hard time today. It's going to come down to whether or not they can give their defense a break, maybe make a couple special teams plays to flip the field here and there. You definitely, if they play like they did against Oakland, against New Orleans offense will tear them up as bad, if not worse, than what Oakland was able to do. Because Drew Brees is that much better of a quarterback than Derek Carr at this point. Derek Carr's on a nice career path for sure. But if you give Drew Brees the same kind of play that they did against Oakland, and that defense has to stay on the field the whole time because your offense goes 3 and out 4 or 5 straight times, it's not going to work today. They won't stand a chance. They're going to need to switch something up on offense. Gary Kubiak's going to have to open up that playbook and go, okay, Simeon, we need you to make plays this week. Okay, Booker, we're going to throw you the ball 10 times today. Janikowski, the fullback, we're giving you 4 or 5 touches today. We're going to leak you out a couple times. Virgil, you're going to be looking at the number 1 guy a couple times. I heard people talking to use the jet sweep this week. Do read option. Change something to jumpstart the offense. I say just run his offense. Run more than 5 plays out of a couple different formations. Stop being predictable and let your players play and see what you got. Help your defense out. All right, next game we'll talk about. We have the Rams and the Jets today. It has come in. Bryce Petty is going to get his first start for the Jets today. I feel bad for the Jets and their quarterback situation. That team had a lot of talent on it. The defense seems like they've pretty much just they're going through the motions at this point. That front seven was too talented for them not to be playing better, and I think they're just not playing as hard as they can because the offense has been so bad. And who would have thought, honestly, with the way they were playing last year, that they would have come back this year and completely regressed. Nobody's doing anything. Eric Decker's out for the season with the surgeries he had. Brandon Marshall's going to lose his car to Antonio Brown from the bet that they made there. That's for sure. And, looking at this game, really, you got two teams. You got a Rams team that is looking maybe at a quarterback switch, depending on how Keenum plays today against the Jets. You got a Jets team that's struggling offensively, and like I said, the defense just seems like they're going through the motions. You got a Rams defense that for years has had a lot of talent, but really kind of just always underachieved or been hurt. And this is another kind of Houston-Jacksonville level type game for this season. These are two teams that'll definitely be drafting in the top half of the draft next year. I don't know what to say about this game, really. I guess, if you want to go out and pick this game, go with the experience of the Jets to maybe win close. This isn't one where I expect a whole lot of action out of it. Todd Gurley's battling a hamstring injury still, leg injury, but he is expected to play today. I would take the Jets close in this one. All right, moving on to the next game that we'll talk about. That'll be Atlanta and Philly. This is going to be a really good game, I think. Expect Philly's defense to definitely come out today and put on a little bit of a show. I expect them to play angry. I expect them to play fast. Cox is going to be all over the field for sure, as he feels like he's hit the wall and needs to be playing better. Carson Wentz, I expect him to have a pretty good game today. I don't believe Trufant is going to be able to play this week. I think he's out, which will only help the young quarterback. And the Falcons' defense has been playing a lot better since they played Denver, and Denver gave them a lot of confidence. Offensively, obviously, the Falcons are the team here offensively. They're putting up fantasy numbers, but Philadelphia does hold on to the ball longer than Atlanta does, so that could help them out today against this high-flying offense. I don't really know who's going to cover Julio Jones. Jim Schwartz is going to have to come up with one heck of a defensive plan for today to deal with all the weapons that they have there. I don't believe Coleman's playing either, but Freeman will still be in. They'll still have both of their tight ends. They'll still have Sanu. They'll still have Jones. And they'll still have their MVP candidate right now, Matt Ryan. Carson Wentz, we all know what's going on there in Philly. They're losing weapons faster than they had them. They cut a receiver this week because of his incident. He's gone. And they were struggling already at that position as it was anyway. So defensively, defense is really going to have to keep him in. Wentz cannot turn the ball over today. He's going to have to dink and dunk his way down the field. Matthews is going to need to have a good game. They'll probably need to get some big plays out of Sproles as well. If you have him in fantasy, it could be a great day for you. Expect him to probably have a couple touchdowns today, be a factor in the return game, obviously, and even have maybe upwards of 10 receptions today. As far as who wins this game, I'll take Atlanta to win this game, probably by 2 scores, at least 10 points in this game. I think Atlanta goes ahead and pulls this one out and beats Philadelphia today. All right, moving on. We will now go to the Chicago Bears versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. It looks like Mike Evans is going to be available today. Doug Martin will also be coming back for the first time since week 2. Limited action there for him in the game, however. And I think Mike Williams in Tampa Bay gets off on this game. Chicago's kind of a broken team right now. They're not necessarily going through the motions. I still see them competing. Obviously, the running back Justin Howard is playing really well right now, and they're going to keep feeding it to him. They need to keep feeding it to him to get the other guys involved. They have injuries in the receiving game. Jay Cutler played inspired when he came back, and we'll see if that can carry over, if they can keep it going, because they're not that strong on defense in Chicago right now. They have a few pieces. They have some guys that are that are playing okay right now. But they're really, again, they're another team that should probably be drafted in the top half of the draft coming next year. And these are two really evenly matched teams if you look at the stats. Just the offensive comparison. They're within 2 yards per game. They're within 10 yards passing per game. They're within 10 yards rushing per game. Tampa Bay is scoring at a better click than them, 6 more points per game, so they're getting another touchdown per game. Tampa Bay's third down percentage is about 5% higher, and they're holding on to the ball longer than Chicago. But other than that, total yards, passing, rushing, they're all really close. Chicago just can't find a way to win, can't find a way to score, can't find a way to stop anybody. And really, Tampa Bay's defense isn't doing anything either. I expected them to be much better with their 2 Pro Bowl level linebackers, with McCoy having a dominant season last season. Expected him to come back and build on that this season, and he's been relatively subdued by offensive lines this year. And young on the defensive back side of the field with a lot of talent and speed. So they're kind of underachieving for me. Some of that's coaching, some of that's the players and bringing them together in a way to be successful. And you're not really seeing that from either one of these clubs this year as far as the players being put in positions to be successful. Jameis Winston, he's having another typical season for him. He's going to make some plays, he's going to turn the ball over, but he's going to keep trying and he's going to keep hustling and doing his thing. So as far as who you want to pick in this game, you might just go with whoever you prefer. Because I have fantasy players on both teams, honestly, I just hope it's a great game. If I had to pick, I would think Tampa Bay is going to pull this one out within probably 8 points. They would win this one, something like 24-16, 24-17, something like that. All right, moving on. Green Bay today is taking on Tennessee. Green Bay, we all know they have a good rush defense that has been hindered with Clay Matthews being out, but still playing pretty good overall. They got gashed by Oakland, and Tennessee should have both of their running backs going today. It sounds like Derrick Henry's calf is doing better. They rested Murray again, so his toe should be all right for today. Marcus Mariota's been playing much better, much more accurate, taking a few more chances, but really not being risky. Aaron Rodgers, his play has picked up a little bit as far as percentages over the last couple games. Receivers are starting to get a little bit of separation and give him some help there. And, they're trying different things in the running game also. Ty Montgomery's been making some nice plays for him. Julius Peppers is still doing his thing on the defensive side of the ball. They're really going to need him to step up big, I think, today. Not have a 10-tackle type game, but definitely be all over Mariota's mind, be in his eyesight the whole time, and come away with probably, 3 to 5 tackles, 3 to 5 pressures, and maybe a sack and a forced fumble. That would be a really good game for him today, and that would really help Green Bay out quite a bit. I think Aaron Rodgers has a good day against this defense, honestly, but I also think that Tennessee's run game is going to help them keep the ball away from the Packers today. Expect this one to be close, just like Tennessee was able to play Detroit very close earlier in the season. These teams all seem to be pretty well entrenched in that area together. Big stat that sticks out for these teams is the rush yards per game on offense, where Tennessee is pulling 144 yards and Green Bay is only pulling 106 yards per game. So it's going to be a fun one to watch. I wouldn't have thought that at the beginning of the season with these two teams. Jordy Nelson could definitely have a big game today. Richard Rodgers could have a good game today. Delaney Walker could have a very good game today, honestly, for the Titans as well. So check this one out if you're a fan. I'm hoping Green Bay falls. Obviously, I'm a Lions fan. So I'll take Actually, I take Green Bay to win this game, if I'm honest. If I'm going to be real, because this is real deal sports talk, I think Green Bay wins this game.